Hi, this is Kathleen, and this is my part of the report for preparing the research proposal. First, let us discuss what is a research proposal. A research proposal is a concise and coherent summary of your proposed research. It sets out the central issues or questions that you intend to address and outlines a general area of study within which your research falls, referring to the current state of knowledge and any recent debates on the topic. A research proposal is intended to convince others that you have an important research idea and that you have a good grasp of relevant literature and the major issues, and that your methodology is sound. Regardless of the field of study and methodology, all research proposals must address the following questions: what you want to accomplish, why you want to do it, and how you are going to do it. Before we go over different parts of the research proposal, here are some common mistakes to avoid. Feel free to pause the video before proceeding so that we can digest and take in what to avoid in doing or while we're making, and perhaps the most important part of our course. Now we go to perhaps the most important part of Module 13, and I'll be taking care of the first 3 or 4 parts of the research proposal, and Dessa will be the one to go over the remaining parts. The first part is the title. The title should be both concise and descriptive. On these 2 slides, outlined are the different characteristics of effective research proposal titles. Alright, please take time to go over them and stop and play the video as needed so that you can answer the next questions. For a little icebreaker, here are choices of some research proposal titles. Which do you think is the most effective research proposal title? If you have answered letter C, then you are correct. As you would recall, the guidelines or tips in making a research proposal title, letter C is the one that is going to be the nearest to satisfy all of them. The second part of the research proposal is the abstract. The abstract is a brief summary of approximately 300 words that includes the research question, rationale of the study, and hypothesis if there would be any. It also includes main findings and the method. Descriptions of the method may include the design, procedures, the samples, and any instruments that will be used. However, bear in mind that for our research proposal for the end of this course, this part is not required. And please refer to the MMS 200 proposal template that we have on our course site. Now here are some examples of effective abstracts. The third part is the introduction. The main purpose of the introduction is to provide the necessary background or context for a research problem. If the research problem is placed in the context of a very focused and current research area, its significance will become evident. Now, there are no hard and fast rules on how to frame the research question, just there is no prescription on how to write an interesting and informative opening paragraph. However, here are some tips in writing the introduction. Please go over them. Take time to stop and play the video to go over them before we go to the next part. Now, we go to the components of a good introduction. First is that it should state the research problem, which is often referred to as the purpose of the study. Provide the context and set the stage for your research question in such a way as to show its necessity and importance. Present the rationale of your proposed study and clearly indicate why it is worth doing. Next is briefly describe the major issues and sub-problems to be addressed by research. Independent and dependent variables of your experiment, or alternatively, specify the phenomenon you want to study. Now, also state your hypothesis or theory if there is any. For exploratory or phenomenological research, you may not have any hypothesis. Now, please do not infuse hypothesis with the statistical null hypothesis. Also, set limitations or boundaries of your proposed research in order to provide a clear focus. And provide definitions of key concepts, although this last part is optional. For the last part of my report, we go to the fourth part of the research proposal, which is literature review. As cited in our course module, the following are the importance of literature review. On the other hand, here are the common pitfalls that may make your proposal and competence in question. The overall structure of your review will depend largely on your own thesis or research area. What you will need to do is to group together and compare and contrast the varying opinions of different writers on certain topics. What you must not do is just to describe what one writer says and then go on to give a general overview of another writer and then another. Your structure should be dictated instead by topic areas, controversial issues, or by questions to which there are varying approaches and theories. Within each section, you would then discuss what a different literature argues, remembering to link this to your own purpose. Therefore, linking words are important. If you are grouping together writers with similar opinions, you would use words or phrases such as similarly, in addition, also, and again. Also, if there is a disagreement, you need to indicate clearly that you are aware of this by the use of linkers such as however, on the other hand, conversely, or nevertheless. At the end of the review, you should include a summary of what the literature implies, which again links to your hypothesis or main question. Next, we go to writing the review. You first need to decide what you need to read. In many cases, you will be given a book list or directed towards areas of useful published work. Make sure you use this help. With dissertations and particularly thesis, it will be more down to you to decide. It is important, therefore, to try and decide on the parameters of your research. What exactly are your objectives and what do you need to find out? In your review, are you looking at issues of theory, methodology, policy, quantitative research, or what? Before you start reading, it may be useful to compile a list of main areas and questions involved and then read with the purpose of finding out about answering these. Unless something comes up which is particularly important, stick up to this list as it is easy to get sidetracked, particularly on the internet. Also, a good literature review needs a clear line of argument. You therefore need to use the critical notes and comments you made whilst doing your reading to express an academic opinion. So make sure of the following. Also, your review must be written in a formal academic style. Keep your writing clear and concise. Avoid colloquialism and personal language. Aim to be objective and respectful of others' opinion. And when introducing someone's opinion, use appropriate verbs or words to accurately reflect the viewpoint. And remember, avoid plagiarizing your sources. Always separate your source opinions from your own hypothesis, making sure you consistently reference the literature you are referring to. When you're doing your reading and making notes, it might be an idea to use different colors to distinguish between your ideas and those of others. As I end my report, leaving here the format of our research proposal. As a reminder that not all of the parts that I have discussed is required for this.